Stop doubting yourself and pursue what you truly want. Stoic philosophy. He who is brave is free. Seneca. Hey there. Have you ever felt the weight of self-doubt holding you back, keeping you from chasing the life you truly desire? If that resonates, you're exactly where you need to be. Today, we're diving into the Stoic principles that can help you break free from those chains of hesitation and take bold steps toward your dreams. No more second-guessing, no more waiting for the right time. This is about building the unshakable confidence to pursue your goals, not someday, but starting now. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. At Stoic in Your Life, we're all about empowering you to live with purpose and resilience. Ready to unlock your potential? Let's get started. 1. Understanding the weight of self-doubt. Self-doubt, those nagging thoughts that creep in and whisper, "What if I'm not good enough?" or "What if I fail?" is more than just a passing phase of insecurity. It's a powerful force that can take root in our minds and grow until it clouds every decision we make. Think of it like a thick fog that blurs the vision of your dreams, keeping you from seeing the path forward. It's not harmless hesitation. It's an obstacle that can stop you in your tracks if you let it. Have you ever found yourself holding back from something you wanted to pursue, replaying every worst-case scenario in your head, and convincing yourself that staying safe was the smarter choice? If so, you're not alone, and understanding this pattern is the first step toward breaking it. Self-doubt doesn't appear out of nowhere. It often originates from a mix of past experiences, critical voices around us, and societal pressures to live up to impossible standards. Maybe it was a moment in childhood when someone told you, "You're not cut out for this," or perhaps it's the constant comparison game we play on social media. Over time, these influences build walls in our minds, walls that tell us, "You can't do that," or "Don't even try." And the longer these thoughts go unchallenged, the more they define what we believe about ourselves. It's like feeding a small fire until it becomes a raging blaze that consumes every ounce of your confidence. To see how this plays out in modern life, consider Sarah, a young professional who dreams of starting her own business. Every night she stays up late imagining the possibilities, freedom, creativity, making a difference. But every morning the same thoughts stop her from taking the first step. What if I can't handle it? What if people laugh at me? What if I fail? Days turn into months and the dream remains just that, a dream. Her self-doubt has built a prison of fear around her potential. Have you ever felt like Sarah, stuck between the life you have and the one you deeply want? Now, here's the real challenge. How do you confront self-doubt when it feels so overwhelming? The Stoics remind us that the power of these thoughts lies not in the thoughts themselves, but in how we choose to respond to them. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What if instead of shrinking under the weight of doubt, you chose to face it head-on? What if instead of asking, "What if I fail?" you asked, "What if I succeed?" The questions you feed your mind will shape the answers you find, and those answers will determine the actions you take. Self-doubt thrives in silence and grows stronger when left unaddressed. But here's the truth. You're not defined by the walls it builds. You can tear them down by challenging the beliefs that created them in the first place. Start small, acknowledge those doubts, and then ask yourself, is this true? Where's the evidence that I can't do this? More often than not, you'll realize these fears are just stories your mind has constructed. And every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you weaken their grip. Self-doubt may never disappear entirely, but you don't have to let it control you. By identifying its sources, questioning its validity, and choosing action over fear, you reclaim your power. 2. The weight of self-doubt. Self-doubt is a burden we all carry at some point in life, but have you ever stopped to consider how much it weighs you down? Imagine self-doubt as a backpack filled with stones, each stone representing a fear, a past failure, or a critical voice from others. At first, you might not even notice the weight, but as time passes, that backpack gets heavier and heavier. Every step forward feels like a struggle, and soon, you're questioning whether you can move forward at all. How often have you let that weight stop you from pursuing something you truly wanted? Maybe you convinced yourself you weren't good enough, or that someone else could do it better. But here's the truth. The backpack isn't permanent. You can lighten the load if you're willing to face it. One of the reasons self-doubt feels so overwhelming is the world we live in. Society constantly pushes us to be perfect, to stand out, and to prove ourselves at every turn. Social media only magnifies this pressure, showing us highlight reels of other people's seemingly flawless lives. We see success, beauty, and confidence everywhere we look, and it's easy to feel like we're the only ones who don't measure up. Have you ever scrolled through your feed and thought, why don't I have it all figured out like they do? This comparison feeds self-doubt, making us believe that maybe we're just not cut out for success. But let me share something with you. Even the people who seem the most confident wrestle with doubt. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most admired Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What this tells us is that the power to overcome doubt doesn't lie in being perfect, but in mastering our mindset. Let's dig deeper into where self-doubt comes from. Often it's rooted in our past experiences. Think back to moments when you failed or when someone told you that you weren't good enough. Maybe it was a teacher, a parent, or even a friend. Each of these moments leaves an imprint on us, like adding another stone to that backpack. Over time, these experiences pile up, shaping how we see ourselves and what we think we're capable of. It's no wonder that after years of carrying these doubts, we start believing they're true. But are they? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself if those voices and failures really define you, or are they just moments in a much larger journey? Seneca wisely said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Each failure is not a conclusion but a stepping stone, a chance to start again with more knowledge and resilience. Think about someone you admire, a friend, a public figure, or even a family member who has achieved something incredible. Do you think they never doubted themselves? The difference between them and someone who lets self-doubt win is simple. They chose to act despite their fears. They felt the weight of the backpack but kept moving forward, dropping stones along the way. And you can do the same. Start by questioning your doubts. When a thought like, "I'm not good enough," pops into your mind, ask yourself, says who? Challenge the evidence for those beliefs. You'll often find that they're based on assumptions or outdated fears rather than facts. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control. Epictetus reminded us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a powerful antidote to self-doubt. Instead of dwelling on what might go wrong, shift your focus to what you can do right now. Can you take one small step toward your goal? Can you learn something new, reach out to someone for advice, or simply remind yourself of past victories? Action is the enemy of doubt because it shifts your energy from overthinking to doing. Self-doubt will always try to convince you to stay where you are, but it doesn't have to win. By understanding its sources, society's unrealistic standards, past failures, and comparison, you can start to loosen its grip. Remember that every successful person you admire has faced their own doubts, and they succeeded not because they were fearless, but because they were willing to act anyway. Your journey is yours alone, and it's okay if it's messy or imperfect. What matters is that you don't let self-doubt define your limits. As you move forward, ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? Then take that step. The life you truly want is waiting for you, and you are more capable than you realize. What's stopping you? 3. The role of fear. Fear is the inseparable companion of self-doubt, always lurking in the background with its arsenal of what-ifs. It whispers to us, What if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if I waste my time? Or worse, what if others judge me? These thoughts can feel overwhelming, but let's be clear. This fear isn't here to protect you. It's not a guardian of your well-being. It's a guardrail designed to keep you in the familiar, the comfortable, and the safe. But let's pause for a moment. How often has playing it safe really led to meaningful progress? As Seneca wisely said, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Fear's primary role is to trap you in the illusion of safety, convincing you that by not acting, you're avoiding failure. But the hard truth is that by staying in your comfort zone, you don't avoid failure, you avoid growth. And in doing so, you rob yourself of the opportunity to discover your true potential. Think about how this plays out in real life. Perhaps you've always dreamed of writing a book, starting a business, or learning a new skill. But every time you entertain the idea, fear chimes in. What if it's not good enough? What if people laugh at you? And so, you stay put, not because you lack ability, but because fear has convinced you to settle. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone? When was the last time you took a risk that made your heart race? The truth is, the men we admire, the ones who build legacies, are not men without fear. They are men who face it head-on. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The key is not to eliminate fear, but to act despite it, to see it for what it truly is, a signal that something important is at stake. In today's fast-paced world, fear can feel amplified by the endless comparisons we make and the pressure to perform. Social media bombards us with snapshots of success, leading us to believe that everyone else has life figured out. But remember this, those successes are built on countless unseen failures and moments of doubt. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of fear. It's the courage to keep moving forward regardless. And this courage isn't something you're born with. It's a muscle you build over time. Start small. Challenge one fear today, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, calling someone you've been avoiding, or taking the first step toward a long-held dream. Each act of bravery chips away at the walls fear has built around you. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the path to fulfillment lies in facing discomfort, not avoiding it. Fear, when reframed, becomes a guide. It points to the areas in your life where you stand to grow the most. As Epictetus said, difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Let your fear reveal your path, not block it. By stepping into the unknown, you unlock the possibility of discovering who you truly are and what you're truly capable of achieving. 4. Recognizing and addressing self-doubt. Self-doubt is an insidious voice often so deeply embedded in our thoughts that we mistake it for our own. It tells us we're not talented enough, someone else could do it better, or that we're better off waiting for a perfect moment. These thoughts, paired with excuses like maybe next year or I'll start when I'm more prepared, create a cycle of hesitation that keeps us stuck. Recognizing these patterns is the first step. Have you noticed how often you hold yourself back telling yourself that you're not ready? Self-doubt thrives on these quiet justifications, convincing us to settle for less than we're capable of. But here's the truth. This voice of doubt isn't innate. It's learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. Self-doubt is like layers of sediment that have settled over years, masking your true potential. Each layer comes from a moment of hesitation, a failure, or a critical remark from someone you once trusted. These layers build up, but beneath them is your true self, the version of you unburdened by fear and doubt. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Self-doubt is just one way your mind has chosen to react, but it doesn't have to be your default. Imagine peeling back these layers one by one, rediscovering the confidence and courage that's been waiting underneath. You don't have to wait for the voice of self-doubt to disappear entirely. Just stop letting it decide for you. Each step you take, however small, is an act of reclaiming your potential. The roots of self-doubt run deep, often tracing back to our earliest experiences. Think of self-doubt as a weed in the garden of your mind. Its seeds might have been planted by a teacher who casually remarked, "Not everyone is good at this," or a parent who urged caution with advice like, "Have a backup plan." These comments, though often well-meaning, can shape our beliefs about our capabilities. Over time, these seeds grow, and if left unchecked, they can crowd out the confidence and hope we need to thrive. But like any weed, self-doubt can be uprooted. Failures and setbacks also play a role in nurturing self-doubt. Each time something didn't go as planned, we tend to internalize it as evidence of our limitations. It's as if our minds keep a running tally, each failure adding weight to the argument that we're not good enough. But what if you viewed these setbacks differently? Instead of proof of your inadequacy, they could be stepping stones, opportunities to learn, grow, and build resilience. Consider how many successful individuals faced countless failures before achieving their goals. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Your past doesn't define you. It's a map of lessons that can guide your future, if you let it. Society, too, plays a significant role in fostering self-doubt. Social media is a prime culprit, showing us a curated version of others' lives that makes success appear effortless and failure invisible. Have you ever caught yourself comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to someone else's highlight reel? These comparisons distort our perspective, making us feel inadequate when, in reality, everyone faces challenges. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and mindset. Instead of measuring your worth against others, shift your focus inward. What steps can you take today, however small, to move closer to your goals? Fear of judgment is another common root of self-doubt. We often hold ourselves back, worrying about how others might perceive us if we fail. But how often do you truly judge others? Most people are far too occupied with their own lives to scrutinize yours. This fear of judgment is largely a creation of our minds. As Seneca observed, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The next time you hesitate because you're afraid of what others might think, ask yourself, is their opinion worth more than the life you want to create? The answer is almost always no. Cultural and societal expectations add yet another layer to self-doubt. Depending on where you grew up, you might have absorbed ideals of success that feel impossible to achieve. For some, success is measured by academic or career milestones. For others, it's about fulfilling family roles or meeting financial goals. When your life doesn't align with these expectations, it's easy to feel like you're falling short. But remember, these standards aren't universal truths. They're constructs. The path that's right for you might look entirely different from what others expect, and that's okay. To uproot self-doubt, start by recognizing it for what it is: a collection of external voices, past experiences, and societal pressures that have taken root in your mind. These aren't truths about who you are. They're stories you've been told or moments you've lived through. Reframing your mindset is like tending to a garden. You can choose to pull out the weeds of self-doubt and plant seeds of confidence in their place. This doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent effort, you'll notice the voice of doubt growing quieter. The real you, the one who dreams big and takes bold steps, will begin to emerge. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery begins with recognizing that you have the power to rewrite the story you tell yourself. Self-doubt may always be a part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to control your actions. Your life is waiting for you on the other side of those doubts. You've just unlocked the courage to challenge self-doubt and take control of your journey. Let us know in the comments by saying, "My time is now," and inspire others to do the same. Don't stop here. Your best self is waiting. 5. Reframing failure and risk. Failure and risk often seem like insurmountable barriers on the path to pursuing what you truly want. They loom large, intimidating, and unyielding, causing hesitation and doubt. But what if you could reframe how you perceive these challenges? Imagine failure not as an end, but as a stepping stone, a vital piece of the journey that helps you grow. Think of risk not as a looming threat, but as a bridge, connecting where you are now to the possibilities that lie ahead. Instead of seeing failure and risk as obstacles, recognize them as essential elements of progress, each marking the next chapter in your evolution. Failure can feel like proof that we're not good enough, but such thinking is a trap. It narrows our view, focusing only on the moment of defeat while ignoring what comes next, the chance to rise again. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we fail, we're given evidence of our resilience, our ability to persevere, adapt, and try again. Take a moment to reflect on this. What's one failure in your life that ultimately taught you something invaluable? Too often we see failure as an isolated event, a big, dramatic downfall. In reality, failure is more subtle. It shows up as small, everyday setbacks, each one nudging us closer to our goals if we allow ourselves to learn. Imagine climbing a steep hill. You might trip or stumble along the way, but every step, no matter how hard, is progress. These little failures are signposts, guiding you forward. They're not evidence of your inadequacy. They're proof that you're engaged in the process of becoming better. Now, let's talk about risk. Many of us are conditioned to avoid risk, equating it with danger or recklessness. But is that really true? What if risk is not about stepping into peril, but stepping into possibility? Think of risk as a necessary leap of faith, a bridge between the life you're living now and the life you aspire to. As Seneca wisely observed, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult. Without taking risks, we remain in the comfort zone, safe but stagnant. Risk is what propels us toward growth, change, and fulfillment. What could your life look like if you had taken that leap? Risk is not recklessness. It's an investment. When you take a risk, you're declaring belief in your dreams, in your potential, and in your ability to handle whatever comes next. Yes, there's always a chance things won't go as planned, but there's also the chance that they'll turn out better than you ever imagined. The act of risking something isn't about the outcome. It's about trusting yourself and valuing the journey. When you reframe failure and risk, you unlock a powerful truth. Growth requires discomfort. It demands that you face setbacks, learn from them, and move forward with greater wisdom and strength. Failure is feedback, a reminder that you're in motion, that you're challenging yourself to reach higher. Risk, meanwhile, is a declaration of hope, a sign that you're willing to believe in the possibility of what could be. Together, failure and risk become the foundation of a life that's vibrant, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. Think about the last time you played it safe. Did it really make you feel content, or was there a lingering sense of what if? Avoiding failure and risk might feel comfortable in the short term, but it often comes at the expense of long-term growth and satisfaction. Every failure and every risk taken are steps toward becoming the person you're meant to be. As Epictetus put it, the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. Remember, the discomfort of failure and the uncertainty of risk are temporary, but the growth they lead to is lasting. By stepping forward despite fear, you embrace the adventure of life, a life filled with meaning, purpose, and the pursuit of your true potential. Growth doesn't come from standing still. It comes from embracing the unsteady ground beneath your feet, knowing that each stumble is a step forward. Failure is the world's way of saying, "Keep going. You're on the right track." And risk is your way of saying, "I believe in myself and what I'm capable of." Reframe how you see these experiences, and you'll discover they aren't your enemies. They're your greatest allies. What will you choose today? The comfort of the familiar or the transformative power of the unknown? 6. Listening to your inner compass. Deep within every man lies a steady, unshakable guide, a compass pointing toward the life he truly wants. It's not loud or flashy, but it's persistent, calling to you when you dare to dream of living life on your own terms. That spark of excitement you feel when picturing a life of meaning and purpose. That's your inner compass speaking. But as life unfolds, self-doubt creeps in, and the noise of external expectations, the demands of society, the opinions of others, can bury this compass beneath layers of uncertainty. Reconnecting with it isn't about discovering something new. It's about uncovering what's been within you all along and trusting its guidance. Your inner compass is no accident. It's built from your deepest values, your unique strengths, and the desires that make you feel alive. As Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This compass knows your potential even when you doubt it. It knows what makes your life meaningful and fulfilling. Following it doesn't mean choosing the easiest path. It means choosing the one that resonates with your core, the one that feels true. Too often, men find themselves navigating maps drawn by others, chasing careers, relationships, or lifestyles that are expected rather than desired. But those maps are meant for someone else. Only your inner compass can guide you to the life that's meant for you. The world is filled with distractions that pull you away from this internal guide. Advertisements tell you what success looks like. Social media shows you curated highlights of other people's lives. And cultural norms dictate what a man should achieve by a certain age. It's easy to lose yourself in these external pressures, but the truth is simple. No one knows what's best for you better than you do. When you pause to quiet the noise and listen to your compass, it becomes clearer, sharper, and more trustworthy. You'll find that the decisions it leads you to aren't necessarily easy or comfortable, but they feel right, authentic, aligned with who you are. Take a moment now and think about your life. Are you living for someone else's expectations, or are you pursuing what truly matters to you? What does your inner compass point toward? Perhaps it's a career you've long dreamed of but felt was too risky, or maybe it's a creative passion you've put on hold because it didn't seem practical. It could be something as simple as living with more purpose, spending more time with loved ones, giving back, or finding joy in the present moment. Whatever it is, trust that pull. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacles you face are part of the path. They strengthen your resolve and refine your vision. Listening to your inner compass also means breaking free from the fear of judgment. Others may not understand the choices you make because they're following their own maps. That's okay. When you live authentically, you inspire others to do the same, even if they don't realize it at first. Trusting your compass doesn't require anyone else's approval. It requires your courage and commitment to your own truth. It's about taking that first step, no matter how small, toward the life that calls to you. Our modern world often praises certainty and plans, but life rarely unfolds in a straight line. It's messy, unpredictable, and full of surprises. This is where your compass shines. It doesn't show you the entire map, but it always points you in the right direction. Think of it as navigating through a fog. You may not see the destination clearly, but as long as you follow the compass, you'll move closer to it with each step. And as you move forward, the path becomes clearer. Opportunities open up, and the confidence in your decisions grows stronger. So what is your inner compass urging you to do? Perhaps it's been nudging you for years, waiting for you to listen. The time to trust it is now. It's never too late to change course, to pursue what you truly want, or to live a life that feels aligned with your soul. As Seneca reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Don't waste yours chasing someone else's dreams or following paths that don't fulfill you. Honor your inner guide. and you'll find that it leads to a life not just of achievement but of meaning and purpose. When you trust your inner compass, you give yourself permission to live authentically. You begin to make decisions not based on fear or obligation, but on a deep understanding of what truly matters to you. This isn't about escaping challenges. It's about facing them with clarity and conviction. Challenges will come, but when your choices are aligned with your inner truth, they become opportunities for growth. And when you look back, you'll see that every step you took, no matter how uncertain or difficult, was part of a greater journey toward becoming the man you were always meant to be. 7. Practical steps to overcome self-doubt. Breaking free from self-doubt is not a one-time event, but a series of small, deliberate actions that prove to yourself day by day that doubt doesn't have the final say in your life. Each step you take is a quiet declaration: I am capable. The first and perhaps most important realization is this: waiting for the perfect moment or until you feel ready is simply self-doubt in disguise, whispering that you should delay. The truth is, readiness is a myth. The perfect moment rarely comes, so you must create it. Start small. Send the email, make the call, write the first paragraph of the book you've always wanted to start. Action, no matter how small, is the antidote to self-doubt, because it shifts your focus from hesitation to progress. And once you're in motion, that voice of doubt starts to lose its grip. A crucial part of overcoming self-doubt is practicing self-compassion, a concept many men find difficult to embrace, yet it's one of the most transformative tools you can use. Often we are our harshest critics, treating our mistakes as proof of inadequacy rather than evidence of effort. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This applies to how you speak to yourself. When you slip up or fall short, remind yourself that mistakes are an inevitable part of growth. Growth, by its very nature, requires learning through trial and error. Self-compassion isn't about making excuses for yourself. It's about creating an environment where you can move forward with resilience and purpose, knowing that failure is a step, not a stop. Another powerful step is focusing on small wins to build momentum. Success doesn't have to be grandiose. Even the smallest accomplishment reinforces your ability to take charge of your life. Did you complete a task you'd been avoiding? That's a win. Did you show up to a meeting prepared, despite doubting your abilities? Another win. These seemingly minor victories are not trivial. They're the building blocks of confidence. Over time, these small successes create a solid foundation that empowers you to take bigger risks and aim higher. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who dreamed of running a marathon but doubted he could ever complete one. He was 45, slightly overweight, and hadn't run since high school. The thought of running 26.2 miles seemed laughable, but instead of letting self-doubt paralyze him, he started small. On day 1, he walked around the block. The next week, he jogged half a mile. Gradually, as his endurance grew, so did his confidence. A year later, he crossed the finish line of his first marathon. Not because he overcame self-doubt overnight, but because he showed up every day and chipped away at it. What's stopping you from taking your first step? The same principle applies to any goal or dream, whether it's starting a business, learning a new skill, or repairing a strained relationship. Progress begins with action. Now let's address the fear that often accompanies self-doubt. Fear thrives in the absence of action. When you avoid taking steps forward, fear grows stronger and more convincing. But the moment you act, fear loses its power. Seneca wisely said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." What are you imagining that's holding you back? Is it rejection, failure, embarrassment? Whatever it is, ask yourself if it's truly as catastrophic as your mind makes it seem. More often than not, the worst-case scenario is far less dire than we fear. And even if it happens, you're far more equipped to handle it than you realize. Action doesn't eliminate fear entirely, but it gives you something even more powerful: courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to move forward despite it. Overcoming self-doubt isn't just about achieving goals, it's about rewriting the story you tell yourself. Every time you take a step forward, you're choosing courage over hesitation, growth over stagnation, and belief in yourself over doubt. Over time, these choices compound, creating a new narrative, one where you see yourself as capable, resourceful, and resilient. Yes, self-doubt will try to creep back in, but you'll recognize it for what it is: a shadow, powerless in the light of your actions. So here's the challenge. What small step can you take today to prove to yourself that self-doubt doesn't control you? Maybe it's reaching out to someone for advice, setting a concrete goal for the week, or tackling a task you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, do it now, not later. Each action you take is a vote for the person you want to become, and with each vote, self-doubt fades a little more. Remember, as the Stoics teach us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Choose to react with action, compassion, and purpose, and you'll find that the life you want is closer than you think. Step by step, you're not just moving forward, you're transforming. What will your next step be? 8. The journey ahead. The journey to overcoming self-doubt and pursuing what you truly desire is far from a straight line. It's a winding, often unpredictable path, filled with moments of clarity and days when doubt tries to pull you back into its grip. Yet every step you take forward, no matter how small, is a powerful vote of confidence in yourself and your future. Waiting until you feel completely ready is one of self-doubt's clever disguises, a trap that keeps you standing still. The truth is, no one feels entirely prepared to begin a journey worth taking. Each new chapter is accompanied by a mix of excitement and fear, but what defines your progress is how you respond to that fear. Will you allow it to paralyze you, or will you choose courage, even if it's just enough to take a single step forward today? The road ahead isn't about eliminating self-doubt entirely. It's about learning to coexist with it, to let it walk beside you without dictating your actions. When doubt whispers, "You're not ready," respond by embracing imperfection. Life's most meaningful journeys are rarely flawless. They're marked by stumbles, moments of uncertainty, and countless opportunities to grow. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Progress isn't defined by perfection. It's defined by persistence, by the courage to move forward despite the obstacles. Along the way, you'll encounter moments that test your resolve, unexpected detours that challenge your plans, and opportunities that demand bold decisions. Every one of these experiences strengthens your foundation of resilience, ensuring that when self-doubt resurfaces, as it inevitably will, it no longer holds the same power over you. This journey is uniquely yours, shaped by your experiences, your passions, and your dreams. It's essential to recognize that no one else has lived your life, felt the pull of your aspirations, or seen the world through your eyes. The goals you're pursuing, the risks you're considering, and the choices you're making are deeply personal. They reflect who you are and the life you envision. As you walk this path, remember that it doesn't need to look like anyone else's. There's no prescribed map for living authentically. It's about carving your own way, guided by your values and your inner compass. Each step forward is a declaration. You are choosing to live with purpose, integrity, and intention. Think of your journey as an unfolding story, one that's still being written. Self-doubt may appear as a recurring character, but it doesn't get to write the ending. Every time you choose to trust yourself, even just a little more, you add a chapter of growth, resilience, and becoming to your story. There will be challenging days when progress feels slow, and that's okay. Give yourself permission to pause, reflect, and recalibrate when needed. As Seneca wisely said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult." The journey isn't about racing to a finish line. It's about evolving, learning, and embracing the person you're becoming with each step you take. Now take a moment to focus on what truly matters to you. What is the vision that excites you, the goal that feels so meaningful that you'd be willing to face any challenge to achieve it? Keep that vision close. Let it serve as your anchor when self-doubt attempts to pull you back. Every person who has achieved something truly significant has faced moments of uncertainty, times when the road ahead was unclear. What set them apart wasn't the absence of fear, but the decision to keep going despite it. They made the conscious choice to trust themselves, to take one more step, and then another. You have that same choice before you now, the same ability to shape your path and claim the life you've always wanted. The journey ahead will test you, but it will also transform you. It's not about reaching some predefined destination. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. So what will you choose today? Will you let self-doubt keep you standing still? Or will you take that next step forward, knowing that with each stride, you are rewriting your story into one of courage, purpose, and fulfillment? 9. Growth is a process. Growth is not a destination but an ongoing process, a journey that shapes you with every step you take. The person you are today is not the person you'll be after taking 100 steps forward, and that's the beauty of it. Each step, whether it's a small, hesitant shuffle or a bold leap, transforms you. It opens doors you hadn't seen before, uncovers strengths you didn't realize you possessed, and lays down a stronger foundation for the next challenge. Yes, self-doubt will still make its appearances, whispering fears and uncertainties. But as you grow, it becomes less powerful, its voice quieter, and overshadowed by the confidence you've earned through your own experiences. As Seneca once said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Each step you take is not just progress. It's a new beginning, a new layer of the person you are becoming. But here's something crucial to remember. You don't have to do this alone. Often the weight of self-doubt feels heavier when we try to carry it by ourselves, as if admitting we need support is a sign of weakness. The truth couldn't be further from that. Along your journey, you'll encounter people who see your potential, even on days when you struggle to see it yourself. These are the mentors, friends, and communities that remind you of your strengths and push you forward when the path feels steep. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them, or bear with them." Leaning on others is not a weakness. It's a way to share the burden, to draw strength from those who lift you up. Surrounding yourself with people who inspire and challenge you can be the difference between standing still and moving forward. Think about your own life. Who are the people you can turn to when doubt creeps in? Are there mentors who've walked similar paths, friends who encourage your dreams, or communities that align with your values? If not, consider seeking them out. Growth thrives in connection, in shared wisdom, and in the accountability that comes from having people who want to see you succeed. It's easy to believe the journey must be a solo endeavor, but the most fulfilling growth often happens when we allow others to walk beside us. As you look ahead, remember this. You are more prepared than you feel. That part of you that's ready to grow, to take risks, to keep moving forward even when the road feels uncertain, that part of you is stronger than the voice of self-doubt. Waiting for perfect confidence is like waiting for the wind to stop. It may never happen, and it's not necessary. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you build, brick by brick, with every action you take in the direction of your dreams. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Let that be your guide. Decide what you want, and then take the next step, no matter how small or imperfect it feels. Self-doubt is just a shadow. It looms large only when you stand still. The moment you step forward, it begins to fade, replaced by the light of your potential. Think about the life you want, the dreams you've been hesitating to chase. What would it look like to finally pursue them? What's the first step you could take today to bring yourself closer to that vision? The life you want isn't out of reach. It's just on the other side of hesitation, beyond the walls that doubt has built around you. Your inner compass, your courage, and your unique path forward are all within you, ready for you to embrace. So, I'll leave you with this question. Are you prepared to take that step? The journey ahead won't always be easy, but it will be worth it. It's a path filled with growth, self-discovery, and the fulfillment of becoming the person you're meant to be. The first step might feel small, but it's also the most significant because it's the moment you decide to begin. Will you take it? The journey is yours. Start today. Congratulations on taking a step toward the life you deserve. Share your commitment in the comments with, "I choose growth," and let this be your declaration of confidence. Remember, every great journey begins with one decision. Make yours today. 10. Unlocking the courage to pursue what truly matters. Life often places before us a quiet but persistent question. What do you truly want? Yet instead of answering it with action, many of us hesitate, held back by doubt, fear, and the weight of others' expectations. But what if we stopped waiting? What if we decided today to take the steps toward a life that feels aligned with our inner compass? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That strength to move forward comes from within, and it begins with a simple decision: to trust yourself and take action no matter how small. The first barrier we often face is fear, the fear of failure, of judgment, or of venturing into the unknown. It's natural to feel this fear. It's a sign you're stepping into something meaningful. But as Seneca reminds us, he who is brave is free. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to move forward in spite of it. What would your life look like if fear wasn't holding you back? What is the dream, the project, or the change you've been putting off because it feels too risky? Start small. The road to your dreams doesn't begin with a giant leap. It begins with one step in the right direction. Write the first sentence, make the first call, or explore the first idea. Each action you take chips away at fear and strengthens your resolve. But courage alone is not enough. Clarity is equally important. Too often, we let the noise of the world drown out our own desires, leaving us unsure of what we truly want. Take time to pause and reflect. What are your values? What brings you genuine fulfillment? Instead of chasing what society defines as success, focus on what feels right for you. Your path doesn't need to look like anyone else's. As Epictetus said, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. What makes you feel alive? When was the last time you felt deeply aligned with your purpose? These are the questions that guide you toward clarity. And here's an important truth. You don't have to walk this path alone. One of the greatest sources of strength lies in connection. Seek out people who inspire you, who encourage you, and who remind you of your potential when doubt creeps in. Surround yourself with those who celebrate your growth and challenge you to keep pushing forward. Whether it's a mentor, a trusted friend, or a supportive community, these relationships can be the lifeline you need when the journey feels tough. Who in your life can you lean on for support? And how can you offer that same encouragement to others? Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, what we do now echoes in eternity. The impact of surrounding yourself with the right people can ripple through every aspect of your journey. Let's not forget the power of resilience. The path to what you want will not always be smooth. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments when self-doubt seems louder than your inner voice. But it's in these moments that growth happens. Think of every challenge as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and build strength. Ultimately, the life you want is waiting for you. Not in some distant future, but right here, in the choices you make today. Every action, no matter how small, is a step closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. Trust yourself. Your inner compass, the values and desires that guide you, already knows the way. All it asks is that you listen and begin. The road ahead will not be perfect, but it will be yours, filled with growth, meaning, and the fulfillment of living authentically. The truth is, there is no perfect time, only the present moment waiting for you to act. As you take that step, remember the words of Epictetus. No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Your journey begins now. What will your first step be? Thank you for watching this video on overcoming self-doubt and pursuing the life you truly desire, brought to you by Stoic in Your Life. Remember, growth is a journey, not a destination, and every step you take today, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals. Start applying these Stoic principles to your daily life. Embrace action, practice self-compassion, and trust in your ability to grow stronger with each challenge. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What's one step you'll take today to move closer to your dreams? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content to inspire your journey of personal growth and happiness. Your journey starts now. Will you take the first step?